The you right here, right now, didn't create this reality. Past you did. The you in the past that took the actions, that did the work, that showed up, or didn't, took the easy way, chose sedation, chose avoidance, chose head in the sand. So if you look around at your life and go, fuck yeah, my life is amazing and it is on the path that I am happy about, then raise a glass to past you. Give them a toast to the work that they chose to do, the work that they followed through on. Give thanks to them. But on the flip side, if you look at your life and go, what the fuck? How did I get here? Well, start looking at the actions that you took, the choices that you made or didn't make, and make a decision right here, right now, that, well, it might be time to make different decisions. It might be time to make different choices towards, well, a better life. Because one of the hardest concepts I find, even for myself, and teaching for others, to wrap your head around is that your reality is a direct reflection of your choices, of your habits, and of your actions. So if you aren't happy with where you're at, if you aren't satisfied with the life that you're currently leading, if you know that you could and should be doing more, that you should be getting more out of life, well, that's up to you. And a lot of people don't like this as a concept because it places the blame solely on you as the person. And yet I think that's the greatest gift of all. Because if the blame's only on you, well, that's also fantastic because it means that you can also change it. That if the blame's solely on your shoulders, good. Then you can change that outcome. The problem is when it's not within your control. The problem becomes when we want to focus on or change things that aren't within our prerogative, that aren't within our control. Remember, there are only 3 things that we can control in this life: our thoughts, our habits, and our actions. So if it's outside of those 3, no matter how much we might want to change it, no matter how much we aren't happy with that as a situation, well, shit, there's very little that can be done about that. There's very little that you can do. So focus on the things that you can control. Focus on the things that you can change. Focus on the things that are within your power. That's where we want to be. Because anxiety, stress, depression, sadness, any of these things come from focusing on things that are outside of your control. Or outside of things that you can change. Stress and anxiety comes from focusing on things that are in the future. You can't change the future. You can't dictate it. You can't determine it. You can't know what's going to happen. All you can do is focus on right here, right now, on the work that you're doing, taking the actions to, well, lead the best life possible. Same with sadness and depression. That's focusing on the past. Focusing on things that cannot be changed, that just are. We find our happiness and our peace and our ability for, well, potential and greatness living in the moment. That's why when we talk about chasing greatness, building the future, becoming the greatest version of ourselves, it comes from right here, right now. We aren't focusing on 126 days from now. We're not talking about 6 months from now. We're not talking about a year from now, 5 years, 10 years. We're focusing on right here, right now, this moment. What can you control? What can you dictate? That's it. We focus on winning the day. We make it nice and simple. Not easy, but simple. Especially when you're starting out, chasing greatness. The 5 main tasks. You've got a weighted walk with 10% or more of your body weight. You have a weighted workout. You have an animal-based diet, meat and fruit. You have drinking 4 liters of water. And you have a daily photo. That's it. Nice and simple. As I said, simple, not easy. But I find most of the solutions, most of the things that are going to have great impact are simple. They're not fucking easy, but they're simple. And so all we are focusing on is winning the day. Talk about it all the time, the Seinfeld method. Just stacking those wins daily. How many days in a row can you win the day? How many days in a row can you put an X on the calendar that you did the work required? And that's it. That's all we focus on. We focus on that. Day in, day out. Every day. We keep it really simple. We keep it nice and in the moment. And you just focus on building a chain up. You focus on making that a reality. And soon enough, lo and behold, you'll be like, holy shit, I'm a different man. Holy shit, I did that work. And look where I ended up. But it starts with winning the day. It starts with doing the work right here and right now. And I think we overcomplicate it. We add too many facets. We add too many things. And I'm guilty of this too. Like, I want to change aspects of my life. I want to really ramp things up. But if we're going, oh, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this, life gets out of hand. And you just cannot maintain that. Especially if you're a man who's, well, living life. Like, actually doing shit in your life. Like, it becomes an unrealistic expectation to continually maintain that. Even this is difficult. I'm not going to lie, there is a strong time allocation involved in it. We're looking at least an hour and a half in working out. There is commitment and allocations that have to be made on this. But generally speaking, I find that we are pissing away time. But if you then add on all these other things onto it, like we've spoken about the morning routines and how many fitness influencers have these epic morning routines. And I will say as a caveat, if you have the capacity for that, fucking fantastic. Like, your day will run better. You will feel better. You will show up better in it. But also, I don't know about you and your kids, but getting the free capacity to run a morning routine means getting up at like 4 a.m. so I can beat my kids up. And even worse then, sometimes they'll hear me and then they're up at that time. And that's just not a realistic expectation. That is not something we want to continue doing for a long term. So we have to balance them out and, in my opinion, choose your biggest bang for your buck. The things that are going to have the greatest impact on your life. And that's what these 5 are. That's what these things are. The 5 core principles of chasing greatness is exactly that. The 5 core things that are going to have you the biggest bang for your buck in your life, that are going to have the biggest impact and deliver the most change. Yeah, once we've established them, once they become habitual, once that's happened, we are going to have to, well, we don't have to. I like to add on things to continue to push you forward, because part of chasing greatness is that we don't settle. We re-establish our new norms. That's why it's 126 days. Because it's about establishing the new normal. That it takes 126 days to replace a negative habit with a positive one. So we commit to 126 days. And once that's ingrained, now we add on it. Now we build on that from there. That's part of the game. To keep seeing who you can be, to keep leveling up, and to keep testing yourself. We've spoken about it before. The man I was when I started this process over a year ago couldn't fathom the things that are just normal now. Couldn't fathom attempting those things. Couldn't fathom the goals that I'm laying out as I'm about to enter the 4th phase of this. Which is the whole point. Nor should I be able to, or nor do I want to be able to. And I hope in a full year from now, I'll be doing things and setting goals that are even more beyond this. Because that's the point. That we continue to level up. That we continue to push forward. That we continue to push the boundaries of what is possible. So that we can continue to look back and raise a glass to past us for the incredible things that we are now reaping because of the work, the effort, and the commitment that past us, well, did. For the work that the past us did. For the work that us in the past chose to do instead of giving in to instant gratification, instead of putting their head in the sand, instead of avoiding doing the work, we raise a glass and say thank you. We say thank you for all the things that we have. And I also believe that within that though, life isn't linear. Life isn't this consistent, perfect, balanced rounding out of things. And the example I'd give on that is, well, if we're talking the fitness side, if we're talking the health side, if we're talking that commitment side on the physical component, well, I've reached levels that I didn't think possible. That I continue to push the envelope on that. That, you know, at 33, I am the most muscular. I'm in the best shape. I am the healthiest, the fittest, the strongest I have ever been in my entire life. And an unrealistic precedent, but one that I am going to chase, that I want to continue improving every single year. You know, I'm turning 34 this year. I want to make 33 look like dog shit. I want it to continue to improve. I want it to continue to progress. I want it to continue to push those limits. I don't know if it's plausible. I don't know if it's possible. I don't know what the future will look like, but the goal has to stay the same. That I want to continually be able to look back and thank past me for that work ethic, that commitment, that follow through, for the life that I am now benefiting from because I did the work in the past. That's where I want to get to. That's what I want to do. But it's a constant development and growth in that process. As I said, the physical component got fucking nailed. But due to some life circumstances like, you know, lack of sleep, like other areas got more complicated, things with the kids, things with that. Some of my work fell off. Some of my other habits for mental growth and development fell off. Those other things didn't get as much attention as they needed and should. So as I'm about to enter a new phase, or as you're about to enter a new phase, the question becomes, what areas of my life need the most focus right now? Because when I started 126 to Greatness, the answer was clear, resounding, unquestionably, the physical component. Because I was ashamed, I was disgusted, I was embarrassed by the man in the mirror. Getting comments from my daughter like, "Daddy, Why are your boobs bigger than mummy's? You know, my stomach hung over my pants. I was a fat personal trainer. That is just an unacceptable level of hypocrisy. Unacceptable level. So I had to change it. I had to do better. I had to be better. And so that first phase was about that. Now the next phase is about discipline. It's about seeing how much I can give up that doesn't serve me, how much I can sacrifice that doesn't improve my life. It's about that mental fortitude. It's about doubling down. It's about pushing the limits in, well, other areas, business, mental focus, fortitude. Not dopamine chasing. That's what this phase is about. That's what this time's about. That's the level that I want to work on now. I want to see what that potential looks like. I want to see how far I can take that side. And, well, also I want to test my mental fortitude because I know the addictive personality traits that I have. I know how easily I can succumb to those addictions. And they are societally acceptable addictions. You know, social media, TV, video games, these kinds of things. I want to see what happens when you cut out all that kind of stuff. And I've spoken about it before, and I've dabbled in this before, and it's fucking difficult. Like, difficult doesn't even give the enough credence to it. Like, full digital detox apart from work is just mind-bogglingly hard. And I think that's a sad reality, and a sad commentary on my life, sad commentary on our society as a whole. But the ability to actually digitally detox, the ability to not need our phones, our computers, our TVs, any of this kind of stuff, is unbelievably difficult. And so much so of it just ingrained into our lives that it's really hard to even just participate in any part of society without those things. So that's the next challenge, because that's the whole point of this, is to continue to test the fucking boundaries. To test what is plausible, to test what is possible, to test how far we can take it. I don't know. What's the point of life if we're not seeing how much we can get out of it? What's the point of life if we are just constantly giving in, if we are just constantly just accepting it as it is? It comes back to that old saying, you know, died at 25, wasn't buried until 75. Well, if you're not testing the capacities of your life in differing and constantly evolving areas, what's the point of it all? What's the point of life if you aren't experiencing new things, if you aren't challenging yourself, you aren't seeing where your potential lies? You are just existing, you're not living. And I want to be able to raise that glass constantly at the end of every phase of chasing greatness and go, yeah, that man fucking did the work. Thank you. Let me tip my cap to you, so that I can constantly be grateful for the next level that, well, I have reached due to the work I did in the past. And I think that's something that's worth aspiring to. I think that's something that's worth working towards. So if you want to see who you could be, if you want to be able to tip your cap to past you and be grateful for the incredible work that they did, then, well, let's start the process. Let's get into chasing greatness. Let's see who you can be. Let's see what you are capable of. Let's see what you could do with your life. So shoot me a message. Let's get you into chasing greatness and let's see how far you can take that. If you're not quite there yet, click the link in my bio, grab my top 10 tools to transform your mental toughness. And lastly, as always, if this spoke to you, if you enjoyed it, if you know someone else who needs to hear this, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. But most importantly, hit that subscribe button. Because like everything in chasing greatness, I'm here every single day, rain, hail, or shine, no matter what. And I want to make sure you're here tomorrow to see this next one. Because I want to see you discover how great your potential is. Until then.